Cape Canaveral, Florida, August 20th, 1975.
Ignition, we have liftoff.
The United States launches a Titan rocket carrying the Viking spacecraft. Viking is embarking on a 420 million mile journey to one of the most prominent sites in the night sky, Mars. If all goes well, in 11 months, the unmanned probe will touch down on the Martian surface and search for evidence of life. Mainstream scientists say Mars is most likely a dead planet because of its incredible temperature swings and high levels of solar radiation. So why is NASA spending $1 billion to explore it?
The night sky is an astounding thing. To the naked eye, the red planet could be seen with its special colors. After all, it's the biggest thing you see up there past the moon. So it's been a special object of fascination and reverence because religious systems often were associated with the planets and the stars, the sky in general. Speculations about what's there, is intelligent life there, or the gods there, that's gone on for a long time.
Our dream for life on Mars probably goes back even to the ancient times when we were just doing naked eye observation. It's the planet that really stands out, that we now know is very close to Earth in terms of physical conditions. Even though Venus is much more like Earth in size and gravity, it's a hellhole in the solar system. But Mars is out there within our grasp.
Among the first to record this fiery red ball in the night sky were ancient Egyptian astronomers. In 1534 BC, they placed Mars on humanity's first chart of the known cosmos, the Sennemut star map. 2.5 centuries later, the Egyptians painted the planet Mars on the ceiling of the tomb of Seti I. But while the Egyptians honored Mars, many other ancient cultures feared it because they associated the red planet with death, destruction, and war. According to some anthropologists, this is because the planet glows red, like the color of blood, spilled on the battlefield.
The association of the red planet with the gods of war goes way back. In ancient Babylon, Mars was named after Nergal, the god of fire, death, and destruction, essentially a god of war. The Greeks named Mars after Ares, their god of war. The Romans, Mars, that is their god of war. Rome was a warrior culture, so this martial emphasis, all connected to the red planet, is accounting for the great armies that conquered the known world, a very successful story, and very much aligned with the planet Mars.
On March 6, 2009, NASA launched a Delta II rocket into space. On board was a new telescope, named in honor of German astronomer Johann Kepler. The space-based telescope was designed specifically to discover the existence of Earth-like planets located outside our own solar system. The Kepler search is focused on a specific section of the Milky Way, known as Orion's Spur.
Kepler's job is to answer the question, how common are other Earths? And to do this, Kepler is looking at one part of the sky for 3.5 years. Imagine like keeping your eyes open and staring at just one part of the sky.
And what they're doing is they're looking at stars, and then as a planet goes around that star, when the planet gets in front of the starlight dims just a little bit from our vantage point because it's being blocked by the planet. And so you look for that dimming of those stars, and then that's how you're able to detect these planets.
So far, the Kepler telescope has confirmed the existence of 5 planets outside our own solar system. NASA officials expect to find several hundred more exoplanets like these before their mission is completed. Once a planet has been located, scientists must then determine if it might contain water.
We know from Earth that all life on Earth requires liquid water. So that is the approach that we've been taking for looking for life elsewhere in the universe. Follow the water. And so that is the step 1.
On Earth, wherever we find liquid water, we find life. And it's true. Life on Earth can exist under an extraordinary range of conditions. Extreme organisms that live in the scalding effluent coming out of the Earth's crust deep beneath the ocean. There are other remarkable organisms living in the waste pools of nuclear reactors in extreme radiation environments, and so on. But the one thing that seems to be absolutely necessary for life as we know it is liquid water.
To determine if a planet contains water and possibly life, scientists use special telescopes to analyze its atmosphere.
We look at the light coming from the planet, and we split that light up, like a rainbow. Now, if you look at a rainbow in the sky and you look really, really carefully, you will see some dark lines. You'll see some colors missing from the rainbow. And those colors are missing because of absorption by gases in Earth's atmosphere. So effectively, we're getting a rainbow from another planet, and we're looking for dark lines that tell us what kind of gases are in the atmosphere.
To better understand how life affects its atmosphere, NASA scientists study microbial mats at California's Moss Landing Wildlife Area.
Microbial mats are important to NASA for a whole bunch of reasons. The organisms that are in microbial mats have been on Earth just about longer than any other kind of organism. They make a number of things which we call biomarkers, which are important in our search for life on other planets. So there are textural biomarkers. So when you pull up a piece of microbial mat and look at the surface, what does that look like? One of the things that we're doing with these microbial mats is we're measuring the fluxes of methane. Methane is a gas that's produced by certain kinds of organisms that use the organic matter that's in these mats. And when that methane goes into our atmosphere, it can be detected by other missions, such as Terrestrial Planet Finder is one of NASA's concept missions for looking for gases that are produced by life on exoplanets.
We can look for the signature of oxygen or water on a planet, and at least that would give us an idea of life forms like ourselves, the ones that are carbon-based and use oxygen and carbon dioxide cycles. Our atmosphere is not stable without living organisms. It would have evaporated away by now. And so if you're looking out in space and you detect around a star a signature of the chemicals that we know exist for life, that's very strong evidence that life is there. Now, it doesn't help you know if it's intelligent life, but it does give you an evidence for life.
Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, August 30th, 2012. NASA launches 2 probes into space in order to study the Van Allen radiation belts, a pair of donut-shaped particle zones that surround the Earth. After 2 years of collecting data, NASA scientists discover a surprising phenomenon. The Van Allen belts are operating as a protective dome, shielding the Earth from dangerous radiation.
Our planet is constantly flooded with particles from space that are charged that, if they made it through the atmosphere, would actually be quite damaging radiation to life. But because of the Van Allen belts and the combination of magnetic fields and charged particles already there, incoming charged particles are sent on curved paths that safely protect the Earth and we don't get hit by them.
The Van Allen radiation belt is one of the most phenomenal scientific phenomena to be discovered in recent times. One of the things that's so shocking about it is that it's changing and mutating as if it's intelligently directed.
The Van Allen belts may be an advanced technology that we still don't really understand. technology that actually is blocking not just natural cosmic particles from the sun from coming in, but potentially protecting the Earth from extraterrestrial weapons that might use some sort of particle beam technology from ever being able to make its way in here.
Were the Van Allen belts designed by extraterrestrial beings to protect mankind from other hostile alien factions? Might there really be an extraterrestrial defense system protecting the Earth from attack? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and suggest further evidence that there is an alien faction policing Earth's airspace can be found by examining modern-day UFO crashes. In 2005, UFO researcher Ryan Wood published a book chronicling 74 instances of strange objects falling from the sky dating back to 1897. As proof that these crashes took place, he cites official documents, eyewitness reports, and even physical evidence.
Ryan Wood's book, Magic Eyes Only, he lists all of these crashes, and I think the U.S. has been involved in the retrieval of the vast majority. It doesn't matter where they are. We had one crash north of Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, and our regular people that go and investigate aerial crashes went out there and were greeted with American troops pointing guns at them. And they contacted Ottawa and were told, well, let the Americans have it.
Well, we've had some great stories of crashes, Roswell, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. They're all over the place. And you say to yourself, how could they crash when they have that kind of technology?
You've got to wonder how extraterrestrials, with all of their advanced super technology, would then just crash. It would seem that something else is really going on here. Perhaps we have the extraterrestrials themselves battling it out over our skies.
Is it possible that even now, warring factions of extraterrestrial so-called gods are in fact duking it out over what happens on Earth? And wars that we see in ancient texts like the Mahabharata or the Bible could be still playing out in our skies as we speak.
Cape Canaveral, Florida, February 21st, 2019. SpaceX, a private aerospace company, launches a Falcon 9 rocket carrying an Israeli spacecraft called the Bereshit Lander, destined for the moon. Within the lander is a digital time capsule called the Arch Lunar Library, containing over 30 million pages of data, including a full copy of the English language Wikipedia.
The Lunar Library is a multi-billion-year artifact that we designed to send a message of our civilization's history to whoever inhabits our solar system in the deep future. The Lunar Library contains 30 million pages of human history, culture, knowledge, art, science.
On April 11th, 7 weeks after the launch, the lander reaches its destination. But as it descends towards the lunar surface, Bereshit's gyroscope fails, and the main engine shuts off, causing the lander to crash on the moon. While the lander is likely destroyed, its cargo, the Lunar Library, was built to be nearly indestructible and is thought to have survived.
We used quartz crystal that is incredibly durable. It can last 14 billion years. There are 25 different layers. The top 4 layers consist of 60,000 analog images of pages of text, photos. Below that are 21 layers of digital information. The analog layers teach important information to get the digital information off the deeper layers.
Storing this record of human history on the moon means that once, if and when our planet is destroyed, something happens and all of our records are wiped out. There is something in a place that has stood the test of time for 4 billion years.
In addition to providing a record of humanity that will survive for potentially billions of years, the project has another, less conventional motivation.
We were interested in retracing the steps of potential ancient aliens. If there were ancient aliens and they were preserving a message for us to find, what would they have done?
For ancient astronaut theorists, the mission is a milestone event, and one that is long overdue. As far as they are concerned, what humans have now undertaken with the Lunar Library is exactly what extraterrestrials did on Earth thousands of years ago.
The question is always, well, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Well, all you have to do is open your eyes. It's everywhere.
Throughout the world, countless mysterious artifacts have been discovered that defy any conventional explanation. And while skeptics may insist that proof of alien visitation could only come in the form of some highly advanced technology, ancient astronaut theorists suggest even the most mundane items can serve as evidence. In fact, in 1936, a local couple in London, Texas, were walking along a creek when they came upon one of the most puzzling ancient artifacts ever found: a hammer.
It was a prehistoric hammer, if you will, with part of the handle still in place inside some very old rock. And part of the handle actually is starting to go through a process called coalification. It's where you have inorganic material and organic material changing into coal. Now, how old is this hammer? The hammer itself was found in the Travis Formation. It's a concretion of sandstone. And it usually takes about 140 million years for this to form. Who was here 140 million years ago?
Modern day archaeology suggests that we've only been around for about 10,000 years. So this falls into the category of out-of-place artifacts.